What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I'm gonna be taking you through a barbell only glute workout with only 4 exercises. It's not gonna be high volume queen day, okay? My typical high volume glute workouts. Today, it's gonna be 4 solid movements that I would do when I just wanna be in and out of the gym, stuck in my one corner, don't really wanna be moving around the gym, touching dumbbells, machines, etc., etc. Sticking to one barbell, 4 staple, amazing glute growth movements. With that being said, let's just jump right into it. All right, guys, so we're gonna warm up first. I'm gonna take you through a couple of my favorite warm up movements that I have been just loving before my leg days recently. So my favorite warm up right now, in my opinion, is deep, low lateral lunges. I just find this is my favorite warm up movement because you get the full stretch here in your adductors, which is your inner thighs. And then as well, you're getting that ankle mobility by pushing your weight into your knee. And then you're getting the really nice ankle mobility right before leg day. I just feel like it's the perfect warm up for legs. You're just opening up the hips as well. You're getting very mobile. Your muscles and your joints are warming up. It's just, this movement is so slay. Such a slay warm-up movement, dynamic stretch. I typically don't warm up for long. I wouldn't necessarily say that's wrong, to each their own. I personally am a very mobile person. Again, I was an athlete before I even got into the gym, so my mobility has always been there. Therefore, like, my warm-ups don't need to be so excessively long, but to each their own, and know your body, understand your body. If you are not as mobile, if you struggle with joint pain, muscle pain, you know, lack of flexibility, lack of mobility, then yeah, I would extend my warm up a little bit more because you want to get as mobile as possible before you just jump into like heavy lifting, you know what I mean? Especially on a leg day, right? So we're gonna do this for 20 reps side to side. I like to point my toe up at the side every time I stretch to get the full stretch. Stand up and then just point that out. All right, guys, next exercise movement. We're gonna do this for 15 to 20 reps. So you're gonna grab your ankles. I'm sure you guys already know which one this one is. Also love this one. Deep squat to extensions, or as I like to call it, Asian squat. So I'm gonna grab my ankles here, or you can grab the front of your sneakers on top of your toes here. And you're gonna go into a deep squat and then extend all the way up to stretch out the hamstrings. Deep squat, keep your toes and your heels, keep your heels completely flat on the ground. Tuck your elbows in, push your elbows on the inside of your knees, push them outwards a little bit to open up the hips. Extend upwards, you should feel that full stretch in the hamstrings, and then extend down, keeping your spine completely neutral and straight, including your neck. Last warm-up exercise of my top 3 favorite warm-up exercises, we're gonna do lean forward into your ankle, keeping your heel flat on the ground again as well. Lean forward, putting your weight into your knee here so that you're stretching out your ankle, and then come back and stretch out your hamstring and do a little bit of a pull. So this is a dynamic stretch because we're consistently moving throughout it, right? Dynamic stretching is not static stretching. Static stretching you would do at the end of your workout. We're gonna do 10 reps per leg. This is a really great one. Ankle mobility, hamstrings, getting stretched out. Exercise number 1, guys. This is a non-barbell squat day, by the way. So to all my barbell squatter haters like myself, we're not doing that today. So we're just gonna be starting off with sumo deadlifts. So if you hate this, I'm sorry, I don't hate it, I love it. So don't skip your sumo deadlifts. It's great for building adductors, glutes, and hammies, everything, great movement. Shoes away, especially if you're wearing a shoe with a heel. I brought the wrong shoes today, but that's okay. You can do legs flat-footed. So shoes to the side. We're just gonna start with the bar just so I can show you the movement. You want the barbell, like an RDL, like a conventional deadlift, any sort of deadlifting, to scrape your shins with the barbell. So very close throughout the whole pattern of the movement. You want the barbell like basically scraping, like the barbell path to be scraping your shins. We call it scraping your shins because you want to keep it as close to your body as possible. Okay, we're not holding the barbell up here or holding the barbell here when we RDL. No. We're like as close to the body and the shins as possible throughout the entire barbell path. You want your toes pointed outwards for a sumo deadlift, and that pointed outward toe is going to target more of our inner thighs and strengthen and build our inner thighs, but at the same time our glutes and our hammies as well. I love a sumo deadlift on leg day. It's like one of my favorite movements. And then we're going to grab inside the rough part of the barbell, where the smooth part is. I place my pinkies where the smooth part of the barbell starts, and then that way my arms are on the inside of my knees throughout the movement. Keeping a neutral spine every time you go down, and a neutral neck as well. Looking about 45 degrees out in front of you. Okay, so for barbell sumo deadlifts, we're gonna be doing 4 working sets of 8 to 10 reps, but the first set doesn't count, as that's gonna be a set on its own, and it's gonna be a warm-up set. So about 10 to 12 to 15 reps, whatever feels good, just to get used to the movement pattern, and then you're actually gonna have the 4 working sets with your actual working weight. Whether you wanna climb up and do a sort of pyramid set or keep the same kind of working weight at 8 to 10 reps the entire time. I got my Gymshark strappies on, guys. You know the drill. Full Gymshark fits for men, women, you name it. Use my code MDJ to save 10% off your orders. These are my favorite straps ever, by the way. Everyone can attest to this that I've gotten on these straps. They love these straps. They're the best straps. My little tip for sumo deadlifts, guys, at the very top motion, the like finishing part of the movement, you wanna thrust into the bar. Like as if you're doing a standing hip thrust. That's how you wanna finish the movement. So if you struggle with finishing movements on deadlifts, especially like a sumo deadlift where you have to thrust up, don't skip your hip thrust. Exercise number 2, barbell RDLs for 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Preferably upping the weight and maintaining the 10 to 12 rep range as you up the weights. Of course, if you're hitting 8 to 10, that's also fine if you're gonna go heavier in weight. So I'm gonna start with the 45-pound barbell here. And again, we're doing a glute-focused barbell RDL. So the difference between that and a hamstring-focused RDL is glute-focused is more bend at the knee. Picture pushing a door open with your glutes. So a more exaggerated bend at the knee. Neutral spine and neck the entire time, similar to the sumo deadlift where you're gonna look 45 degrees in front of you to keep a neutral neck. We're not gonna look at it ourselves in the mirror, all right? I know we wanna see how beautiful we are, but we're not gonna do that because that's gonna hurt your neck. So you're gonna look 45 degrees in front of you, exaggerate the bend at the knee, push the door open with your glutes, drop just below your shins, and then you're gonna come up, but not locking your knees. When you lock your knees, you lose the tension in your glutes and your hams. So we are gonna go just below the knee, come up, keeping the slightest bend in your knee to keep the tension in your muscles that you're trying to work, in this case, your glutes and hammies. If you wanted it to be a hamstring focused RDL, which we're not doing today, you would go lower than your shins, go all the way down, and less bend at the knee as well. But this one, exaggerated bend at the knee, just below shins, and then come back up, all right? 4 sets, 10 to 12, let's go. Feet shoulder width apart, toes very slightly pointed outwards. Okay guys, exercise number 3, second last exercise of the day. We're gonna be doing barbell hip thrust superset. So we're gonna be doing 10 full hip thrusts right into 8 to 10 calf glute bridges. So the difference between a hip thrust and a calf glute bridge, which I get asked this all the time in my videos, and I have explained it before in like older videos, but I feel like I just need to like update it because I feel like I haven't explained it in a while in my most recent videos. But basically a hip thrust is a full range of motion movement. It's more so of a power compound movement more than anything in comparison to the calf glute bridge paired with it. It's perfect because calf glute bridge is a little bit more considered of an isolation movement because you're only doing half rep. You're not going all the way down to full ROM. You're gonna do half ROM, and it's kind of like a really good pump slash, I would consider it like a pulse almost. So that's why I always love to pair it as a superset with hip thrust, because you're getting your power and strength from the actual hip thrust movement itself, and then you're getting your pump and your hypertrophy from the calf glute bridge sprinkled on top of it as like the little cherry on top in the superset, you know? So yeah, that's the main difference between the two, and it's perfect for a glute focused day. And honestly, I don't know one person that's never gotten a pump from a calf glute bridge hip thrust superset. I don't know one person that hasn't. So try it for yourselves if you haven't already in my programs. So try and up the weight and keep the same rep range that I said. So 10 hip thrusts right into 8 to 10 calf glute bridges. So try and up the weight as you go to hit all the reps the exact same as well. Feet, when it comes to barbell hip thrust or calf glute bridges of any sort, feet about shoulder width apart, toes slightly pointed outwards, and you want to hit 90-degree tabletop position at the top portion of the movement. So if you're not 90 degrees, that either means the bench is too low or it's too high. So if it's too high, your legs are going to be angled more like that, which you don't want, or if it's too low, then you're not able to reach the full potential and the full thrust motion if the bench is too low on your rear delts slash upper back. So make sure the bench is a perfect height for you. Remember guys, when it comes to supersets, no breaks in between each exercise. So as soon as you're done the hip thrust, no breaks, right into the calf glute bridges, and then that's like where the burn, the lactic acid is gonna build up. Fourth and final exercise, you already know the drill. In all my glute days, all my leg days, I gotta add a unilateral movement in there. So we gotta do compounds, isolations, unilaterals, you name it. We gotta add all the good stuff in there. So of course we're finishing off with unilateral barbell elevated reverse lunges. Again, I would normally just do this with dumbbells, but because this is a barbell only glute workout where you're sticking to one area, pretty much one piece of equipment, that's what we're gonna do with a barbell. I typically don't go super heavy when it comes to unilateral barbell movements because it's just the movement pattern with the barbell specifically. When it comes to single leg movements, I'm not, besides a B-stance hip thrust. B-stance hip thrust, I slay. I'm strong at that. But like other things with barbell, like reverse lunges or like even a Bulgarian split squat with the barbell, I just typically like to go lighter, hone in on form, time under tension, take my time with the movement, and not necessarily ego lift and add a ton of weight versus if I were just using dumbbells, I would just go heavy and balls to the wall type thing. So we're gonna start with the bar as part of our working set. So the first, we're gonna do 4 sets again as well, guys. We're gonna do 4 sets again as well, guys. 4 sets of 10 reps per leg, adding weight as we go again. Start with the barbell on the rack. Pretend the plate was here. For demonstration purposes, we brought the plate out here. So your plate should not be this far away from the barbell for safety purposes, but it just gives us more space to show you guys. You want to have it either a high bar, you want it to sit high on your traps or low on your traps, totally up to you. I personally squat and do anything barbell movement up here as a high bar movement rather than low bar. So I like high bar. It's totally up to you though, if you want it to sit low on your traps or high on your trap. And then you're gonna grab just outside your shoulders, engage your lats, retract your back into your spine to really hold the weight here evenly. And then you're gonna lean forward, your torso is gonna lean forward as you go down, because this is a glute-focused barbell elevated reverse lunge. Glute-focused means more of a torso lean forward and a wider step back. A quad-focused reverse lunge would be torso completely upright, 90 degrees, and a shorter step back. That would be quad-focused. Today we're doing glute-focused. This is a glute workout, right? So torso lean forward, wider step back, glute-focused. Okay, feel the stretch here on your working leg. I add the mini elevation, not an exaggerated elevation, a mini elevation like a plate underneath my feet to give an extra stretch to the glute and ham throughout the movement. That extra stretch, it just gives you that extra stretch in the movement. For me, I just like the deeper stretch. I feel it better in my glutes versus without the elevation. 4 sets, 10 reps per leg. All right, guys, that concludes today's 4 exercise barbell only glute day. Let me know in the comments if you guys give it a try and if you enjoy it. It's pretty much doable for all fitness levels. And like I said, you really just need basically one piece of equipment and you can stick to your own corner in the gym, be in and out. It's not super high volume. And if you want to add in a bonus exercise for isolation, I would recommend doing the glute hyperextension machine, but you don't have to. These 4 exercises are staples and it will give you an awesome glute day. So let me know in the comments if you give it a try. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know if you want to see more workouts like this. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.